Welcome RPA champions. In today's video I'm going to be doing a process requested by a subscriber to the RPA champion. Exactly, you can ask me your processes that you would like me to build and I'll make a video about them. In the process from the subscriber, they wanted to like and comment on different posts on Instagram. So I do lots of automation on LinkedIn, but people want to automate other things as well. So in this process, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be searching for a specific keyword like AI bots or Gen AI, for example. Let's see what comes up with Gen AI. And what we are going to be doing is we are going to be clicking on each one of these posts. We are going to be liking it, and then we're going to be commenting on this post. Initially, we are going to be commenting with a static comment, but after that we are going to be commenting with AI. How can we comment with AI? We can take this image right here, save it as an image, and then pass it to AI to understand the image and give us a meaningful comment. Now, this would truly and actually provide value to the conversation and create engagement around the post. All right, let's set the basic for this post. Or for this automation, we are going to be using Microsoft Power Automate Desktop. It's a free technology, and everything that we're going to be doing right now is going to be for free. Everybody can follow along. I suggest that if you want to learn how to build this kind of automation, you subscribe to the RPA champion, and let's get started, right? So let's call this Instagram like and comment on search results. I suggest that we always give meaningful names to our processes, because once you're going to have hundreds of different processes, why are you going to have hundreds of processes? Because these processes are going to allow you to save hundreds of hours of time of you sitting in front of the computer. And soon you probably are not going to be sitting in front of the computer, because AI agents are going to be taking care of pretty much everything that we do. But until we are there, we still have the ability and chance to learn this kind of automations. All right, so I'm just going to start with the recording, or with the recording button, and let's try it out. So once the recorder appears on the screen, I'm going to click on record, and then I'm going to click on this first element. After that, I'm going to click on the like. Oh, well, now it's the unlike, so I'm going to click twice to like it again, and I'm going to delete the thing that has appeared here. So let's like it again, like. So like, well, I'm not sure which one is the unlike. We'll see later. And after that, we're going to click on the comment. And then we can type some text like great, exclamation mark. This is also, I guess, going to be captured. And then we are going to click on post. So this is going to allow us to create a basic skeleton of the automation that we need, but we're going to have to fine tune it, obviously. And the last thing that we are going to do is we're going to click on this icon right here, and we're going to go to the next post. So on the next post, we're going to repeat the process. We're going to like it, comment it, and then click on the next. So that's pretty much what our automation is going to be. Let's click on done, and let's see what it has generated. Well, 11 steps for something so complex. We're going to probably add a few more steps, but not that many more. So let's take a look at what it has created. So the first action is launch Microsoft Edge. If we double click inside of it, we can see that it's attaching to a running instance. Means that the browser has to be open for it to work. We're going to put it so that we open a new browser every time that we use it. We're going to paste in the link that was there, and we're going to maximize the screen. Let's save this, and the first action is done. So what is it doing then? It's clicking on something like unsorted list. What is this? So if I click on this unsorted list 133, I see, okay, it's clicking on the first element. Double click on this. Let's see what are we working with. Oh my goodness. All right. I remember why this was so confusing, because these selectors are pretty hard to get right. So let's check out these selectors, and I think they're all pretty don't make a lot of sense. So what we are going to do is we are going to test out this selector. So let's test out this selector, and I'll explain this change in just a second. So, well, actually we don't even need to put this. We can just keep it like this, and let's test it. Let's see if our selector is working. So one of the main reasons why these automations fail is because the selectors with the web page break. So let's, okay, here we go. All right, so this has failed, but probably because this was in the way. So if I close this, let's try it again. Let's test the selector. All right, it has found the selector. Just out of curiosity, let's try something different. IDs tend to change often. So if we keep this, it might be better. Also, I think that if we change, for example, like this, we can also get the following element, like maybe the one below. No, not really. So, all right, let's just keep it at 0. Do we even need it? Let's test our selector again without the ID and everything. So yeah, the selector works based on this selection. What does this mean? This means that if we change the layout probably of the page, the automation is not going to work. How can I make this work better? Probably only if I leave this, it could still work. So that is up to you to test if it's working. So I'm going to leave the screen always maximized when I run this automation to make sure that is working. So these are little things that you should pay attention to make sure that your automation are running 100% of the time. So, all right, so that is done. We've created this first selector. Then we go to the web page. We don't need this action. So we are clicking on the first thing, and then we click on the like, I guess. This is the like. So this element right here. So here we should test this out again and see if we can find this element again. So we're going to go to test again, and these selectors seem pretty sketchy, kind of, to make them stable. So what we are going to do actually is, you see, we're going to add an image as a fallback. So we're just going to select this image right here. So capture image, this right here. And let's wait for this image to get captured. So we have this as a fallback. So since these selectors are pretty hard to identify and to match, we're going to use this image, and we're going to click on this like with the image. The same thing we're going to do with the comment. So I'm sure we are going to have the same issue exactly. We're going to add an image as a fallback. Once we click on the comment, it's going to put the cursor in here so that we can type. So let's add this as well as a image. We're going to capture it, and this is going to make our automation successful most of the time. So it's going to run a little bit slower, but it's always going to look for those images, those pixels, and it's going to work definitely. After that, we are going to populate text in fields. So let's see if this is kind of something similar. Is there any other kind of selector? So we don't need this. So since right here, once we click on this, we have the cursor active, we can use a different action in Power Automate, something that is called send keys. So this is just going to send some keystrokes to the browser, so to the where we have the cursor. So great, exclamation point. And we are also going to send them as text as hardware keys. So just like simulating as if we're typing. We're going to delete the following one, and then we're going to click on post. I imagine we're going to have, here we actually have something that can help us out. So we can uncheck all of these, and we can just keep the div text post. I imagine that this would be enough. So if we remove all of these from these elements. So here are the different elements, HTML elements that Microsoft Power Automate Desktop is using to link this tool to the browser. We are going to uncheck all of these, and we're going to have this div text post. Let's just see if this is going to work like this. And we're going to select the same tab as we previously had, Generative AI Instagram. So this did not work, but why did it not work? Why? Because maybe like this it will work. Let's try it like this, and let's test it. Okay, now it's working. It's finding it. We have a really small selector. We know that this selector is never going to change. So we can save this. And after that, we are going to click on the next button. So let's click this selector as well. And here we are going to also have a pretty hard time clicking on this. So we're going to add an image as a fallback. So same process as previously. We're going to hover our mouse on this button right here. We are going to click on Control and left click. And this is going to add this image as a fallback selector. So in case it doesn't find this complicated selector, it's just going to look for the image. So let's save this. Let's run our automation, but let's add a couple of waits. So waits are going to allow us to, for the page to load a little bit. And also, since we are simulating lots of things from the user, it's a good idea to simulate it just like a user, waiting a couple of seconds between different interactions. So let's try our automation by running our flow. So it's going to launch a new Microsoft Edge. Let's see what happens. It's going to the generative AI, and I can change this if I wanted to use different kinds of tags. So let's see if it's going to click on the first image. All right, we have an issue with the first selector. So as expected, let's debug this issue. So right here, we have to click on the first thing. So let's try to fix this. So what we can do is we can add a new selector and hover it over the first element and just see what is the selector that we get. So we get a selector that is something like this. So in this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. I'm going to set this to contains, and I'm going to change this value like this. So this is going to make it so that everything that has mount, but that part changes dynamically. But we're just looking for mount inside of the ID. So if I test this, maybe it's going to find multiple ones, but it doesn't really matter. We can click on any one of those. It doesn't really matter. So let's see if it's going to find the right selector. It didn't find the selector. We need something else to match it with. So maybe if we add the ordinal, let's add the ordinal as well. It didn't find it again. So this is going to take a little bit of time of fine-tuning and looking for the right. Oh, so it did actually work. So this did actually work. So we can keep it like this. Let's save it. Let's run our automation again. Let's close the browser that was created. Otherwise, it's using useless memory. And also remember that in the end of your automation, you can also add a close browser so that once your automation is done, you can close the browser and you can just go crazy with your automation. This is just a basic example that I have shown you in 10 minutes how to build an automation that is going to repeat an action. Well, we still didn't do the repeat part. Let's first see if this first part of the process is going to work. So let's check out Microsoft Power Automate Desktop. So we have a issue again. So it did not find these selectors. So let's go back again to this selector. These are really complicated selectors. So it's good that we are having some experience debugging this. Let's click on new again. Let's add another time the same selector. And we can see that it looks very similar to this one. So what we are going to try to do is we're going to try to do the same thing for this one. And if that does not work, we are going to do something else. So let's try this as well. And let's see if we have any other selector that we could potentially use. Maybe the one with the section. So let's try this test. It's good practice also that every time you kind of make some changes to test your automation. So it looks like it found something. The third one seemed to work. So let's save this. Let's try our automation one more time. So every time you also add a selector, that what is going to happen is that the first selector is going to get tested, then the second selector is going to get tested, then the third selector, and so on. And then also the image as fallback for all of the different selectors. So let's see if third time is going to be the lucky time that we are going to get this right. So no, it still was not able to find any of these selectors that we are doing. So let's try a different approach. So let's try maybe using a UI automation approach. So what we're going to do is UI automation. We are going to try to click on an element. So wait for an image, click UI element on a page. So let's click this and insert this. We are going to add a UI element, and we are going to hover our mouse over this. Let's see if we can see it, and let's right click on this. All right, once that is done, let's go see what has been created for us and if we can actually work with it. So this has been created for us. This selector looks pretty complicated, but the only part that could potentially change could be this part right here. So let's keep it like this for right now. We're going to disable this action and let's just see if this works. So if that works, we're going to try to fine-tune it. If it doesn't work, we're going to try a different approach. So it's opening again the same page. It's called in the same way, so that's fine. Let's see if it's going to click where it should click. It is still looking for the element. All right, that did not work also. So let's give it one other try. So I think what we can do right now is we can do something even simpler. So I think we can send some keystrokes to the applications. So once the page finishes loading, we're going to send some keystrokes such as tab, tab. Tab, tab is going to put the cursor right on top of the first action, and then it's going to we're going to hit enter. So when we are creating these automations, we also have to think a little bit outside of the box. So let's see if this is going to work first of all. So let's tab. So we need to add tab like a few times, maybe like 3 times, and then we have to click on enter or insert. So let's search for insert, which is I guess enter or return. Do we have return? Enter. All right, so let's save this and let's see if this is going to work. So I can also maybe first disable send as hardware keys, and let's try this again. So it seemed to be hard to spy the first selector. I could spend more time, but I think this could actually be more faster. So what we are going to do is we're going to pass hardware keys 1, 2. All right, that worked flawlessly, and now we are on this first page and the automation can continue. So let's see if it's able to match the, all right, it did not find the like, or it did find the like, but it didn't click it properly. It clicked on the post, it went on the new, and it went on the new page. So it is semi-working. Let's kind of finalize our automation with something. Let's add a loop to our automation. So this is going to just repeat this set of actions a lot of times. So we are going to start from 1, we're going to end at 10, increment by 1, and we're going to drag the end all the way until the last action that we want repeated, the next. So what is going to happen? We don't need this anymore, and well, we do need it, but we need it outside of the. All right, so we can also hit tab not 3 times, but we can hit tab just a couple of times, like twice. I think that would be enough. And then we're going to be able to see the first thing. We should click on like. So let's go to advanced, also send physical click. Let's maybe disable this and see what happens. And let's play it. So if we disable the physical click, it is also good to mention that the automation performs better, but some applications work only if a actual physical click is detected. All right, we went on the first post. It is going to click on the like or no. No, it did not click on the like. It clicked on the comment. All right, so we have to fix the like thing. It clicked on the comment. All right, so we are now on the next one. Let's see if it's going to. All right, so it's repeating the same issue of the like. It's clicking somewhere else, but it's creating a comment. It's going to click on post. It's going to go to the next one. Perfect. Now let's see. It should repeat the steps 10 times, I believe. So it's clicking on the like, but it is not the right like. Now we're going to add grade. We're going to post, and then we're going to click on next. And now I can fine tune this and improve this to my liking. So for example, what I could do first is definitely fix this liking issue that we have right here. So let's interrupt this. You've done great so far. So, and also keep in mind that Instagram is a really difficult application to work with. So our automation with just 14 steps and just like 15 minutes of work that turned out to be a lot of debugging as well. And now that you know how to do it, you can just do it really, really quickly. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's fix this like issue that we have right here. So it's not clicking on the like we want. So let's try to fix it. So it's probably clicking on the selector because it can find the selector, and it's finding the wrong selector. So if I go to this selector that we have right here, I can see that again, this selector makes absolutely no sense. So I'm just going to remove or maybe, well, this selector makes sense, but it finds the wrong thing. So maybe I can just confuse it and not have it find the right thing. Let's try it out. Well, I can just add something like this, and this should not work. So then it should fall back to the image, and our automation theoretically should work. And obviously I can make this as much different as I want. So whatever comes to my mind, I can make the automation in any way I want. Here are all of our posts that we have created in the past 20 minutes. So that didn't work either, but I don't really feel like debugging it anymore. So I will leave that task to you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you have stayed with me for so long, I suggest that you subscribe to the RPA Champion channel, that you ask me your questions about what kind of automations you want to build, and that you connect to the Discord channel for all of the code that I'm going to be sharing from this automation and from previous automations. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next automation video.